contact. Folks, if you haven't been doing so, you have the opportunity to provide your feedback, personal feedback to all of the speakers. Don't forget to put your name on the line also. So please, even if it's just a quick remark, please, they love having that feedback. Our final speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Mark Ahlers. Mark considers himself a minority lawyer. That's because he's only a handful of lawyers who love the same thing, lawyer jokes. This morning, Mark shares some of the favorite lawyer jokes as he presents project number 1 from the Engaging Human Path with his speech title, Pitbull. Please welcome distinguished Toastmaster, Mark Ahlers.
Thank you, Carlos.
And Mark is filling in at the last second. This is for you.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, what's the difference between a lawyer and a catfish? One's a bottom-feeding scavenger, and the other one's a fish. When I first heard that joke, I was a young associate with a small law firm in Ohio. I guess I was kind of naive back then, but I actually thought that joke was kind of funny. So I tried it out the next day at the office on a couple lawyers and clients. To my surprise, I didn't get one laugh, not even a giggle or a whimper. I was so baffled by the stoic response to my joke that I sought an explanation from the person at the firm with the quickest wit and keenest sense of humor, the senior partner, Tom Kerrigan. After hearing my story and joke, Tom said, "There's no problem with your joke. The problem is your audience, lawyers and clients." I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "Well, look, when it comes to lawyer jokes, most lawyers don't think they're funny, and most clients don't think they're jokes." So from that day forward, I quit telling lawyer jokes to lawyers and clients. And in the same way, I never once heard a lawyer or client utter a lawyer joke. That is, until Barney showed up at our office with a real estate problem. After introducing himself, Barney's first question was, "How many lawyers does it take to screw in a light bulb?" I said, "I don't know, Barney. How many?" He said, 3. One to climb the ladder, one to shake it, and one to sue the ladder company. Well, I was so surprised to hear a client telling a lawyer joke that I asked Barney, I said, "How long have you been telling lawyer jokes?" Barney got a big grin on his face and said, "Why, ever since I closed my law practice and became a real estate investor." Well, Barney's problem that day required the assistance of my law partner, John Bennett. So I asked John to join us in the conference room. Barney wasted little time and got right to the point. "John," he said, "how many lawyers does it take to screw in a light bulb?" John thought about it for a minute and then said, "Well, Barney, that depends. How many can you afford?" Well, after representing Barney for a while, I realized he was not only an excellent real estate investor, but he was also one of the best lawyers I had ever encountered. So one day, while we were having lunch, I asked him, I said, "Barney, with all your considerable skills as a lawyer, why not just do your own legal work and avoid all of our billable hours?" Well, Barney got a big grin on his face and quipped, "Are you kidding? I haven't worked for a measly $300 an hour since I closed my law practice. Well, after lunch, I called our office manager and asked her to change the rate on Barney's file from $300 to $350 an hour. I didn't want Barney to be stuck being represented by a lawyer who only charged a measly $300 an hour. Over the years, there were quite a few contentious moments with other parties and their lawyers as we negotiated various real estate deals. During those contentious moments, I was always amazed at how Barney was able to unleash one of his many lawyer jokes in order to ease the tension and often solve the problem. And that's exactly what happened. When Barney was negotiating to purchase a parcel of property from Ben, a local citrus grower, Ben was represented by one of the big firms in town. And the firm sent Edie, a talented young lawyer, to represent Ben during the negotiation conference. Although diminutive in height, Edie had an ego the size of the Empire State Building. And she put it to good use by needlessly nitpicking every minor contract detail. I was quickly growing weary of Edie's antics, but Barney seemed amused. So he got out his little joke notebook that he always carried, and he began paging through it. When he found the joke he wanted, he handed it to me. I read the joke and immediately began shaking my head no. But Barney couldn't resist. He interrupted Edie in mid-sentence and shared the following question and one-word answer that so infuriated Edie that our meeting abruptly ended. But so amused Edie's client that he ended up signing our contract later the same day. Edie, what's the difference between a female lawyer and a Pitbull? Lipstick. Mr. Toastmaster.